You know, guys, we are really living through some wild times right now. We've got the military deployed to the streets of LA. We've got a right-wing lunatic running around killing Democratic lawmakers. And we even have Israel and Iran tearing each other's heads off. They're in a hot war. And all the while, you got the President of the United States. He's at the White House installing a flagpole. But don't worry. He wants everybody to know that he is a very, very serious person, that he's got everything under control. And what I find particularly amusing is that while all of this chaos is going on, he decided it would be a really good idea to hold a press conference while this flagpole was being installed. And he covered a wide range of topics. Here he is saying that all of the workers here today, well, they must have voted for Daddy Trump. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
It's about the largest you'll ever see. And it's tapered. It's at a quality that you guys rarely get to even put up. They do that for a living. They're incredible people. I don't know them, but I love them. And I would bet that they all voted for Trump. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I think so. But we're about to lift it, and we also have one going on what's called the front or the north. We have one going there, identical.
Does anybody else get tired of this asshole continuing to self-aggrandize himself? I mean, it's so bizarre that the President of the United States, in every single appearance, always has to talk about how great Daddy Trump is. All these guys, they must have voted for me. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that they all voted for Trump. Because I'm the best, and these are hardworking men right here. They must have voted for Trump. And it's just really, really weird that this is how he is spending his time while you've got so much chaos going on in the rest of the world. And supposedly Donald Trump is supposed to be, negotiating our way through these things. But instead, he's holding a press conference on the White House lawn while a flagpole is being erected. He goes on to say that, well, can't I just appoint myself to the head of the Federal Reserve? Because as you guys know, he is very, very angry with Jerome Powell.
Too late. I call him Too Late Powell because he's always too late. I mean, if you look at him, every time I did this, I was right 100%. He was wrong. Maybe I should go to the Fed. Am I allowed to appoint myself, Doug? I don't know. Am I allowed to appoint myself at the Fed? I do a much better job than these people.
This is what we get for electing a stupid person as the President of the United States. He thinks he's better at everything. He's better than everyone at everything. He'd be better than Jerome Powell at managing the Federal Reserve. He's so pissed off because the interest rates aren't coming down fast enough to make Donald Trump look better, even though his chaotic methodology and all of this uncertainty he's injecting into our markets is the reason why Jerome Powell is holding steady right now. So he goes on to continue to criticize the Fed chair.
He should. I call him every name in the book, trying to get him to do something. I've been nice to him. I do it always. I don't know how to sell. I've been so nice to him, fellas, you wouldn't believe. Let's have dinner. Too late. I'd call him too late. Come on, too late. Let's have dinner. I do it every way in the book. I'm nasty. I'm nice. Nothing works. He's like just a stupid person. But I don't expect anything. Maybe he does a little bit, but we should be 2.5 points. Remember, Europe had 10 cuts. We had none.
The reason we aren't doing cuts right now is because your tariff policy is injecting so much uncertainty into our markets that nobody knows how they should be acting in this current the economic environment. That is why Jerome Powell is holding steady. If you were to just remove all of these tariff threats, if you were to remove all of these across-the-board tariffs, we would have a better understanding of how we could project into the future, and you might get Jerome Powell to start lowering rates, because then we don't have to worry about this inflation due to the tariffs that you have unilaterally imposed. Donald Trump thinks that we're supposed to be a one-to-one to Europe when they are operating in a completely different environment than the United States. And I think it's really telling here. Well, I've tried everything under the sun. I try to be nice to him. I try to be mean to him. I give him a nickname. I just can't get him to do what I want him to do. I think I think things are better that you are not pressuring the Federal Reserve to make decisions based on your political whims and your stupid assessment of your current environment. I think that is probably a good thing and probably something that should remain into perpetuity. Let's not have Donald Trump influencing the Federal Reserve. Then he's asked about whether or not the Iranians have reached out to him.
Have the Iranians reached out to you, Mr. President?
What?
Have the Iranians reached out to you?
Yes.
And what did they say?
I said it's very late. You know? I said it's very late to be talking.
Mr. President.
We may meet. It's. I don't know. There's a big difference between now and a week ago, right?
Does anybody believe this shit? Well, sir, have the Iranians reached out to you? Yes. Well, what exactly was said during that call? Well, I mean, what happened? Oh, well, it's just so late, isn't it? I mean, things look so much different a week ago than compared to now. I mean, it's just so different, right? Does anybody for a second believe that Iran reached out to Donald Trump in the midst of their hot war with Israel? Seems probably not too likely, in my opinion. And it's also very disturbing, the reporting that we are seeing on this front, that Donald Trump is waking up in the morning and watching Fox News and then deciding, oh, well, maybe we will join this war with Israel. Maybe we will start deploying our troops. Maybe we will start deploying our assets to strike Iran. This is the President of the United States making decisions based on what he sees on Fox News, because they are trying to hype up the idea that we should take out Iran. Scary, scary stuff. Scary, scary stuff. That this guy has no principles or no comprehensive understanding of anything that's going on in the region, and he is so easily swayed by turning on Fox News in the morning. He goes on to talk about the 2020 election yet again.
This guy has no clue. He'll do anything we tell him. And then they realize they don't even have to get permission. They just go up to the auto pen. That's a subversion. That's a takeover of our government. And you people ought to start looking at it. That's a takeover. Not only did they cheat, I guess you saw yesterday came out with China and the license plates, tens of thousands of cards. They used those cards to vote on the second election, my second, the one 2020. Because as everybody here knows, I won that election by a lot.
What does the auto pen have to do with the 2020 election? And what the hell is he talking about when he is referring to the license plates from China and somehow they're involved in our election system? And everybody knows, guys, that the election was stolen from me in 2020. What is this nonsense? He just will not let this go. He just cannot have that loss attached to his name. But everybody knows that this has been investigated up and down, and nobody has found any widespread evidence or any evidence at all of widespread fraud. It just didn't happen. But Donald Trump is such a petulant man baby who has to self-aggrandize all of the time that he just can't let things like this go. It is absolutely pathetic that this is the president of the United States. And then he made this very ominous statement about him now being the hunter.
What gave you the idea to do this?
I've had it for a long time. The first time I had it, but you know, you guys were after me. I said I had to focus. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter.
That is true.
It's a big difference. Big
Nice
difference.
to be the hunter.
But he was the same no matter what.
So what made you decide to install a new flagpole right here at the White House, sir? Oh, well, of course, because before, everybody was after me. Everybody was after me. I was the hunted. But now I'm the hunter, which is exactly the case. We know Donald Trump has been targeting his perceived enemies. He's been going after political opponents via executive order. He's going after Harvard in a multitude of different ways, trying to strip away their funding. And now he's got troops deployed to the streets of LA because he is trying to wage war on blue power centers, as he calls them. And he's now admitting it right here. Yeah, I'm the hunter now, baby. I'm the guy in charge. I call the shots. I can go after whoever I want to because I'm the most corrupt president that this country's ever seen. And I don't really care about the rules. I don't really care about the laws, and I really don't care about the norms. And that whole Supreme Court thing, I really don't care about that either. But sometimes I'll sprinkle in a veneer that I kind of care about the system. That is what we are currently seeing from this president. He is going after his political enemies or his perceived enemies, and now he's not even hiding it. Absolutely insane. All right, let's move on to this clip where he's talking about withholding wildfire aid from California now, which he's talked about this in the past.
In California, will your recent dust-ups with Governor Newsom impact additional wildfire relief out there? They've requested $40 billion.
Sure, maybe. The man's incompetent. You shouldn't have fires like that. You clean the floor of your forest and you won't have any forest fires. You know, Austria has very, very flammable trees. They don't have forest fires because they clean the floors. They maintain their forests. It's good, in fact. You know, hatred is never a good thing in politics. When you don't like somebody, don't respect somebody, it's harder for that person to get money if you're on top.
It's quite gross what he just said there. Hatred has no place in politics. Donald Trump is the most hateful person, beyond maybe Stephen Miller, that this country's ever seen. He is the most divisive president that this country's ever seen. But what he said there was quite distinct. Well, it might be harder for that person to get that money if you're on top, which is basically what he is saying is, well, because I'm the big dog in town, and because I really don't like Gavin Newsom, because I have a bone to pick with Gavin Newsom, well, now it's going to be harder for him to receive the money that he's entitled to because I'm a petty little man-child that is going to hold a grudge and not give California what they're entitled to because I can. That is what Donald Trump is saying here. And let's not forget, everybody. California gives way more in tax money than they receive. And so for Donald Trump to just be coming out and threatening again to withhold funding during a disaster like a wildfire, it is grotesque. I mean, just imagine if Biden did this to Florida when the hurricanes ripped through there. No, you don't see stuff like that coming from the Democrats. They understand that FEMA was created for a reason and that these funds are stored away for a reason in times of disaster. And it doesn't matter if you're a red state or you're a blue state. We all pay our taxes. We're all building the same system. And so if you're hit by a disaster, of course we're going to help. That is not the calculus that Donald Trump is doing. He's saying, oh, well, I don't really like Gavin Newsom that much. He's really incompetent, and he should really be raking the floors of the forest, and he wouldn't even have any fires anyway. He's just stupid. He's incompetent. So why should I give him any money? It's absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Here he is, of course, making fun of another reporter. It wouldn't be a Trump press conference unless, there was a clip of him doing this once again.
Mr. President, some of your supporters are split on the U.S. response to
Who are you with?
CNN.
No.
There's a split,
Fake
though.
news. Fortunately, nobody watches.
But my question
Is anybody watching CNN nowadays? I haven't seen it in a long time.
But some of your supporters are wary of the U.S. getting involved in another foreign war, and some believe that we should support.
Do you ever ask a positive question at CNN? My supporters are more in love with me today, and I'm in love with them more than they were even at election time, where we had a total a landslide. We had, we won all 7 swing states. Did CNN report that?
Yeah, of course CNN reported that you won all 7 swing states, dumbass. I mean, he's such a man-child. He's so petty. He's so weak and feckless. The question that the reporter are asking is a very good one. You are now starting to see divisions in the MAGA coalition between people who want to take out Iran and people who definitely do not want to get involved with backing Israel and going after Iran. This is a very good question. But instead of, dealing with the content of the question on its merits, Donald Trump has to turn it into attack. Why don't you ever ask me any positive questions? I won in a landslide. Did you guys ever report that? It is. It's just so pathetic. It's just so pathetic. CNN was reporting the election results in 2024, just like every other news station. They also reported that you won all 7 swing states. And Donald Trump just still continues to want to push this lie that he won in some huge mandate, even though more people voted against him than they did for him in that election. So those are the clips that I had for you guys on this particular day. Donald Trump, amongst all the chaos in the world, against the backdrop of Israel attacking Iran and then Iran retaliating, with Donald Trump leaving the G7 early, with troops deployed in the streets of LA. Donald Trump is taking his time to hold a press conference to make him seem like the candidate for the working man. So he gathers up a crew to install a new flagpole and then invites the press and then attacks the press for asking any question that might require a little bit of thought to actually answer. The President of the United States, everybody. This is where we are. We are 6 months in. We've got 3.5 years to go. I guess if you can say one thing about it all, it's that it is kind of amusing. I know the stakes are very, very high, which is really not fun to look at it in that light. But we need to find some levity through all of this darkness in our country right now. We need to find some things to laugh at with this authoritarian takeover currently underway. We need to find something to laugh at with Donald Trump being the most incompetent president that this country has ever seen. And so I guess if you can say one thing about this style of press conference, it's that Donald Trump, he can provide a laugh or two every now and again. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders all of this nonsense for Donald Trump day in and day out. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. Of course, that is free. And if you guys want to see how millions upon millions of people turned out to rebuke Donald Trump and his authoritarian power grab, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.